Well, good morning, everybody. This is DearMamaSal on a drizzly Thursday morning. Yay, Thursday! For those of you who don't know, I don't work on Fridays. And by the way, starting June, I won't work on Thursdays either. I'm about 69 days away from retirement. Something like that. So it's very stressful yet exciting time. I'd have to say that. It's a bit of both. Hope you all had a good 24 hours since I last spoke to you. Or with you, as I like to think. It's a sad day, I think, again, today, because of that French plane going down in the Mediterranean. And I couldn't help but think how many of you, first of all, I'm certain there are a lot of you being able to get on a plane would be a nice thing for me, and I understand that. But for those of you who might now second guess yourself about going on vacation or doing whatever because of the threat of flying, I like to keep reminding people of this because I think it's really important. Don't get me wrong, yes, there is always a risk in flying. There is always that risk. But the most dangerous weapon that we've ever designed, I understand, would be the motor car. The automobile has killed more people than any airplane. As far as I know, way more people than we've even killed in wars. I think I read that somewhere. So, if we're going to stay away from anything that could risk our lives, then, we basically would have a very limited life. So the main thing is to understand, to be careful and be vigilant, but also to understand that sometimes you just have to take the risk. If you want to live. I know that sounds incredible. If you want to live, take the risk of dying. But I think there's a very famous saying about that, isn't it? If to love is to risk being hurt, to smile is to risk crying, and to be happy is to risk being sad, all those sort of things. Because you really can't have one without the other. So I would encourage you all to just be sad for the families, obviously, of those that went down, both the passengers and crew. But also to understand that everybody knows the risks. And I think, although I could be wrong, but I think that sorry, we've got a constructions area here, need to concentrate a little more. That as long as ISIS continues to gain hold throughout the world, the risks are going to get bigger. And that is a sad fact of life. Oh, that was nearly a multi-person accident. That was exciting. We're all struggling to get through a construction area, and somebody right in the middle of it decided to take a left. And the person in front of me obviously thought they were going to go straight forward. So did I think the person in front of me was going to go straight forward, and we all had to brake quite suddenly. Oops. It happens in life. Oh, they painted the grass green. I love the way they do that, don't you? When they paint on grass seedling. I just think it's so clever. Well, I wanted to give you some achievement feedback in terms of the fact, remember I went and got the external hard drive, the new one, the big one. the 5 terabyte one. Well, I've managed to free up a lot of space on my laptop. I'm now about only 75% full rather than 85% full, or more, 95% full, I think, at one point. So I'm feeling a lot better because it makes it easier for me to function. The other thing it does is it helps my computer work faster. So I was able to get the the vlog up a lot earlier last night, and I hadn't realized how slow it was due to the being too full, but it certainly did help. So there we go. I basically spent $200 to get a lot of freedom of time, and that's what I keep saying to myself. You know, these things are not luxuries, they're actually saving me time, and time is important. So for those of you who are new subscribers, and I'd like to welcome you, thank you for being a subscriber. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed and you like a bit of wit and wisdom, click on the face thing on the bottom right hand corner here. We do a number of things, and I normally try and remind people of this on a Thursday. We not only do these drive-alongs, which I do on my way to work, but I also do stuff on gizmos that I found. I'm a gizmo person. I love gizmos. So if I find anything that pleases my inner child, you know, you will get a vlog on that. And I also do some fun cooking stuff, not for gourmet cooks, but for people who don't really like to cook very much. And we do a lot of work behind the scenes that you don't actually necessarily see. We have 3 broadcasts a week where we try and help people who are struggling with stuff, and we have a community that sort of sticks together, and we call them the peeps, and they look after one another through tough times or through difficult times. And we help people with things like anxiety and grief and illness. And we're very proud of the work that we do in that, because we know it's needed. And it's nice to know that you've got somewhere where you can go where you need to either vent or cry or have a moment of honesty about how you're actually feeling about something. And even if that's anger at somebody for doing something, we can normally help you through that sort of stuff as well. So I thought it's important to keep reminding people that that is what we do. I like to say that DearMamaSal is about love, life, and other problems, because we love our lives, but we understand that it's an up and down thing. Life, you know, you have good days and you have bad days, and the DearMamaSal network is all about understanding that reality. It's not all the good stuff. And when I first came onto YouTube, I made a commitment to myself that I would only do this if I talked both sides. I would not pretend that my life is perfect. Boy, we wouldn't have very many vlogs, would we? I just didn't want to act. I didn't want to act that. Now, I understand as well, there's a school of thought that says, well, you know, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. But you know, to me, this is about, I would far rather talk about the tough times that I'm having, and hopefully in talking about them help other people know how to cope with their tough times, which apparently people have thanked me for. Because I think in a lot of cases it's a mentality, and it's going to be a huge challenge for me to retire. I'm not prepared, not suitably prepared. And so for any of you in your 20s or 30s, I cannot tell you how much I encourage you to be aware that by the time you get to my great age, if you're lucky enough to do so, the chances of retirement being available are probably slim. So do what you have to do to look after yourself. And it's strange, if you if you could just put a small amount away each month. I wish I'd understood it better when I was in my 20s. Mind you, I probably still would have spent the money. And now that I think about it, I like to kid myself, I probably still would have spent the money. However, what I'm saying to you is that make sure you put money away. Now, for those of us who haven't put enough away, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. What it means is we're going to have to be more creative about how we live our retirement. And that's the interesting part. How do you get to be more creative when the cost of living is going up all the time and you're not going to have any money coming in? You know, not on a regular basis, sort of thing. So what you do is you make a plan to find a second stream of income, or a third, or a fourth. And then you say to yourself, well, if you're going to do that, why retire? Why not stay in your job? Good point. But you know, for me, it's about, I really know that I want to spend more time doing DearMamaSal. And I really do also want to take some time traveling and resting and doing things that I believe, you know, I would like to do, because I've been working for an awfully long time. And I really am looking forward to the chance to enjoy the rest of my life. So I'd like to call it bucket list time. You know what I mean? It's none of us knows how much time we have left. And I have been very fortunate to live a pretty healthy life all the way through to this age, and I intend to take what time I have to enjoy what I have left with you. That's the fun part. And it's really amazing how many people have said to me, you're going to be so bored. I go, really? And it's cute, because I found that the sort of people who say that are people who don't know me at all. And people who know me go, oh my gosh, you know how much trouble you're going to get into. What I really am looking forward to, though, is to keep up the pattern of what I do. And I would really like to keep the vlogs coming and keep the life lessons coming to you. And I'm really genuinely looking forward to that. So for those of you who commented on the story of my life type vlogs, I thought it was interesting. It probably will take a series rather than one or two, because what I would like to do is to talk about, well, this is where I was at this age, and this is what I was doing, and this is what I was doing wrong, and this is what I think I was doing right, and the lessons that I learned, and then, you know, the next part and the next part. Because I think in that there is learning, and there are some great memories and some great laughs, and in a way it will be fun for me to do, because I'm sure there will be a lot of laughter in it, and also a lot of sadness when I remember certain things. But I really do believe that it'll be an experience. I've lived, as I said, a very lucky life in many ways, and I hope I continue to. All right, everybody, have a super day, and understand that life is filled with risks, and if you don't take a risk, quite honestly, you don't live. I keep thinking about Erin took a heck of a risk to put that pump into her body, and there's a risk in having an operation. There's a risk that it wouldn't work. There's a risk that it could end up worse. The risk that it goes on forever. But she took the risk, and because of it has found new freedom. I certainly took a risk when I decided to start Dear Mama. Well, I didn't. Benji decided to start DearMamaSal. To this day, I still remember my standing there going, "What? Okay, whatever," not knowing what he was doing. And then the way he said, "Okay, you're a YouTuber now," and I go, "Really? What's that?" I can remember standing at the top of the stairs going, "And what's that?" "You'll find out," he said. I really had no idea what a YouTuber was. I knew that he was one, and I knew that Judy was one. But I really hadn't got a mentality of what that took. Oh, if only I'd known. It's funny because I was talking to a parent at work this week, and they were saying that their child have just said they want to be a YouTuber when they grow up. I said, let me have a few moments to talk to them. No, but I can totally understand why young people would want that. Because they think it's a get-rich-quick thing. Or whatever. Now, are some people destined to do it? Yes, the same thing as some people are destined to be actors or celebrities. Some people are destined to do it. But let's see if they've got what I call that mentality. Because, you need a certain mentality to survive this, that's for sure. And you need to be able to handle a lot of different things. Technically, emotionally. Does this son or daughter have the ability to deal with the haters? I hope so. Because they can be cruel. No doubt about that. But as I said to somebody just yesterday, and then you wake up in the morning and you get an email from somebody saying, "Thank you so much for what you talked about yesterday, because I really needed to hear that." Or it really made me laugh. Or it really made me think. And please keep doing what you're doing. And you go, yep. It makes up for the bad times. So taking the risk brings the rewards. And the rewards aren't always money. The rewards of life are not always about money. The rewards of life are about, have you made a difference? And I don't know about you, but I like to judge my life in, have I made somebody else's life easier or better? That's painful. And that to me is success. So take a risk and understand the older you get, the more you can risk being yourself. Isn't that beautiful? That really is no doubt about that. You spend so much of your life in a way pretending to be something you're not. But the older you get, the more you can end up just being who you are. And you really don't care if other people don't like it. And I'm certain I've got enough viewers that are going, yeah, I know that one. I think that is what freedom definitely is to me these days, which is, not worrying too much about whether people think you live a very strange life. And I do. You can Can you imagine how many people of my age think I'm absolutely stark staring bonkers? That's a good English word. Bonkers for being on YouTube. And that's okay. Let them think that. Take a risk. Reap the reward. This is DearMamaSal saying, have a super day. Look after one another. Big hug to you all. But most of all, remember to look after yourself. And bye-bye for now.